Kia ora, I'm Charlotte Squire. Welcome to this presentation, Introduction to Crowdfunding. This is for people who would have loved to get along to one of the workshops I've been giving remotely, virtually, and in person. And it introduces people to crowdfunding. I'm sitting here in my office in Takaka, Golden Bay. You may hear my sidekick, Thomas the Vizsla. Occasionally he likes to yawn and bark, but he's happiest at my side. So let's kick into this presentation. So I work for PledgeMe, New Zealand's crowdfunding platform, and our tagline is that we help people fund the things that they care about. So this is me, I'm Charlotte Squire, and I work for PledgeMe as Projects and Marcom Lead. Basically, this means I help people set up, run and market project campaigns, and I live in Golden Bay with my whānau, and that's them there. So what is crowdfunding? Crowdfunding is when you go out to your crowd and for funding, you set a financial goal, a deadline by which you want to raise those funds by, and you offer something in return. I say here we're super cool at PledgeMe because we offer 3 kinds of crowdfunding, and we do, but lend is on hold. So we offer project-based crowdfunding, which is what I oversee, where you offer rewards in exchange for pledges, and the reciprocity aspect of that is super important with PledgeMe. So we're not a donation-based so much website. There is a component of that, but we're more about pledging in exchange for something. And we also have equity-based crowdfunding, which is where you offer shares in a percentage of your company in exchange for pledges. And then there's also lending, which, as I said, is on hold at the moment. So project campaigns, well, project crowdfunding campaigns. During this presentation, that's mostly what I'm going to focus on, which is where you offer rewards in exchange for pledges. But if you'd like to know more about equity crowdfunding, we'd really love to hear from you. So just reach out to us at contact@pledgeme.co.nz anytime, and we can answer any questions at all that you have about that. Having said that, I'll probably touch upon equity crowdfunding at parts of this presentation as well. So as I said, our catchphrase is helping Kiwis fund the things they care about. And over the years, we've helped people fund just so many different kinds of projects, from small chocolate shops like Baron Hasselhoff in Wellington, although they originated right here in Golden Bay, who raised 51,958 because they wanted to expand their chocolate production so they wouldn't run out of chocolate that Christmas, as they had run out of chocolate the last Christmas. And then we go to the opposite end of the spectrum. This is an equity campaign, a large chocolate shop in Dunedin called Ocho, who took over when Cadbury's left Dunedin. The community raised over $2.5 million over 2 equity campaigns to form their own community-owned chocolate company there. From a refuge for pets, that's one of our larger project crowdfunding campaigns that happened in Christchurch at 300,000. So you've got over 2,000 people pledged to that campaign, which is pretty amazing. I haven't worked with as big a project campaign as that one before. And to a sanctuary for Kaumatua elders, this was a nice one that went for just over 100,000, with a solid amount of people pledging to it. We do welcome some heartwarming projects through our crowdfunding doors. So to start with, it's really important that you know that your crowd is your superpower. So the crowd part of crowdfunding is one of the 2 most important aspects of a campaign. If you've built a supportive following around your project, you're more likely to reach your funding target. And this is PledgeMe's founder, or co-founder actually, Anna Guenther. I called her Anna Guenther for years, but she's Anna Guenther. She's German, being supported by her crowd. That's in the early days when she started up PledgeMe. So what is your crowd? In a crowdfunding campaign, it's your community, whānau, family, friends, and web of networks around you and your project. As in life, if you have heaps of tautoko or support around you, things tend to go a lot better. We use the term crowd instead of community, and we use that term a lot. So here's another really big one. It's your funding target. Alongside your crowd, this is the second super important ingredient in crowdfunding. We tell people to run their first campaign for a lower minimum target. Like I say here, 1 to 2,000, but whatever the most cautious amount is for you. And you could go up into tens of thousands. An average amount at the moment is around maybe 20 to 30,000. We've got some 50,000 ones running. We advise people to start with a more cautious one for their first crowdfunding campaign, so that people can learn the ropes, learn how to crowdfund before maybe down the track going for a larger crowdfunding campaign. And make sure you include the costs of our fee, which is it's a success fee, which is 5%. We only get paid if you get paid. But crowdfunding is quite a skill set, and people sometimes will dive in there with high hopes, but it's just a bit of a skill set to actually reach your minimum target. So the lower the better for your first one. And if you want to talk more about setting a decent minimum target, one that really works for you, just get in touch with me, charlotte@pledgeme.co.nz, or contact at pledgeme.co.nz. Starting a project campaign. So people usually make first contact with us by applying or requesting to do a project campaign. So that involves sending us a brief introduction to their project, which we generally do approve. And once you've been approved, then you can craft and build your project description. It should include at least 50 words. Most people include a lot more than 50 words, and include all the basic information covering the who, what, why, how, where, and when of their project. And we offer support via online information, and we're really happy to answer questions and meet for chats. And basically, we are right there alongside you as you build your project description. And it's really good to break the text up with subheadings and break the text up with images, so it's really easy on the eye. Loads of images are a very good idea for your project description. And another thing that's super important is to be very clear. Ideally, potential pledgers can easily understand who you are, learn a little about your background and how your project works, and exactly what you're crowdfunding for. Keep your language simple, clear, and friendly. And ideally, you'd really have the most important information in the top paragraph of your project description. For example, this one, the RO Video Library Preservation Transition Fund. He's looking to transition the RO Video Library collection and website out of his ownership and into a trust entity that might ensure its future preservation and as an archive for the benefit of current and future generations of film lovers in Aotearoa. So that's the most important information. I can just read that first paragraph and decide whether or not I would like to pledge to his campaign. And by the way, he did super well, that guy, and he met his minimum target and soared above it. We love images and video. This is a really cool image from Waiheke Island. Ideally, it's a short 1 to 2 minute video that tells us the story of your crowdfunding campaign. And in the video, we suggest you just be yourself. It doesn't have to be super flash. You can shoot it on your phone and edit it on your phone. You can get some really easy phone video editing apps these days that make it super intuitive and easy to understand how to do some basic editing. And this guy here actually successfully ran his campaign without using any social media, just sending his video around to his friends. He was based in Littleton, where there's a really close-knit community, so that would have been helpful. But he did a really cool video to raise the funds to finish a video about the music scene in Littleton before the Canterbury earthquakes happened. So this is a new subject of rewards. So you want to be offering at least 3 rewards to your crowd in exchange for their pledges. Rewards are an important part of crowdfunding. And as I said, you need to make sure you include the cost of them in your target. You can get really creative and have fun with rewards. And it's a good idea to just do some research and look through PledgeMe's project campaigns at rewards to get a feel for them. Once you get your head around them, they're really fun. But they basically start off like this one. It's a $5 plus koha, and then they go up in value. For example, $20, $30, $50, $100, $200, and up into the thousands. People these days have an average of around maybe 7 rewards, but you can have as few as 3 rewards. And this is the difference in this type of crowdfunding. You're asking people for money, but you're offering them something in return. So there's a spirit of reciprocity. It's not it's not a handout. You're actually offering people something in exchange for their funds. And we can talk more about that if you want to. Just reach out to us for a chat. But before you do, just have a look at some examples. I think looking at those, the way successful crowdfunding campaigns have worked, which include those rewards, is a good place to start. So once your campaign is live, you've on average got 30 days to what we call activate your crowd. Pledge and share. We want you to ask people to pledge to your campaign and share it with their people. I tell people to plan to post or reach out to someone at least once a day during the entire campaign. So it takes some energy and planning. Ideally, you'd plan before you even begin your campaign how you're going to market it. We talk about making a list of the top 50 people you can reach out to ask to fund your campaign. So really be honest with yourself, who, and you do need to be brave to do this, but who are the first 50 people, make a list. You can go more than that, or less, but that'll get you thinking about who you would actually ask if it came down to you, like one-on-one, reaching out to individuals to ask them to pledge to your campaign. And people often do that in crowdfunding. You really need to throw your whole heart into doing it to make it succeed. So the more you can get the word out there, the better. And in turn, we will amplify your efforts through our communications channels. So we watch for the people who are genuinely making an effort, and we'll step in and support you, and it will ripple out. It really makes a difference if you can throw yourself into doing a good job of this campaign. We have this term in crowdfunding called deadline magic. We're an all or nothing crowdfunding platform. So this means you must reach your minimum funding target to receive your funding. This can lead to some buzz towards the end of campaigns, because it's often in the final 7 days in the lead up to the deadline that people start thinking, oh, better hurry up and pledge. I've been meaning to do that for ages. And the money often comes in those last 7 days. And it can be rather stressful for the campaigner, but it's perfectly normal from our perspective. And it can be a good thing, because your campaign will get shared and shared and shared further and further afield with people who otherwise wouldn't have heard about what your project is. So as I mentioned, it is a bit of a part-time job. They do take a lot of time to run, possibly a lot more time than people expect. So make sure that you plan for this to take up a good chunk of your time and your focus for that 30 days. Here's an example of a crowdfunding canvas planning tool. We have several templates, sort of communications and marketing planning templates we can send you. One of them is even more detailed than that, which I do recommend you have a look at before you even start crowdfunding, because ideally, from my perspective, you've actually planned all your marketing before you launch your campaign, because as soon as you launch your crowdfunding campaign, you can feel the pressure. So it's better to kind of brainstorm and be creative before you go live. So we'd love you to have an awesome ending of your crowdfunding campaign. And ideally, you've nailed it. And we are processing your payments, and your crowd are very, very happy, and you're celebrating. But once you get to that stage, just be aware that you'll need to deliver on all those rewards you've promised. That part can take quite a while, and people can sometimes get caught out by the ending part. Yes, you've reached your minimum target and it's closed, but there's often a whole lot of work to do behind the scenes to fulfill your promises after the crowdfunding campaign has ended. So to sum it all up, to crowdfund, you'll need a great crowd, a reachable minimum target, which will be different for everybody, a clear project description, and to consistently market your campaign most days to your people and your people's people, particularly though in that last 7 days towards your deadline, which is where all the fun happens. So we'd love to chat with you. If you'd like to ping me any questions anytime, please do, charlotte@pledgeme.co.nz, or reach out to contact@pledgeme.co.nz. That's our more general contact email. If you have any questions, reach out. We'd love to hear from you and help you. So thank you so much for tuning in today, and I hope that this was helpful, and I hope we'll see you sometime with a crowdfunding campaign that we can work alongside you with. Bye.